Good morning. It is Black Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving, and as you can see, I am nowhere near a mall. I will take a quick 360 spin here, and to all those of you fighting elbow to elbow, my condolences. Being a card-carrying member of REI, I support the opt-out side. As you know, REI is one of the few retailers who actually closed today and encourage those of us to enjoy the outdoors to, as they say, opt outside, take a hike, and sort of recharge for the holidays here. So that is what I'm doing. I am on a old favorite trail here. We are on the Dosewallips Road, past where the closure is for the washout, heading up toward Elkhorn Campground. That is a area in my other videos that I sort of blow by every time. The intent today is to actually go up there, have lunch, and film that place. That is a place that one can stay overnight. Actually, a place I have stayed overnight before. So that will be the one main purpose of this trip. May go up further into the fire zone and see if there's been blowdowns. This is, of course, we've had significant storms the prior weeks, lots of rain, lots of wind, really windy yesterday, so we will probably find some storm damage. I'm not out here, although I'm hiking alone, there are 5 other cars in the parking lot, so I'm not totally alone. There's another car pulling in just as I left, so it's a reasonably popular area. So I'm going to shut this off, get down the road, and turn it back on later. Dosewallips River after a good rain. No further explanation needed. 2021 fall update. Someone may remember this tree from earlier videos. Rest in pieces. But part of it has been taken out for some reason. Don't know whether it was used for trail maintenance up ahead or what. All right, a little surprised. First casualty that we've encountered here. Looks like someone's already done some sawing on part of it over there. And it came down. Looks like it really scraped up that other tree there. And obviously not a huge impediment to hikers. I think that other one's a rotted tree it took out. Alright, we are going to duck under. I think it's safe to do so. There's no other options. Yeah, and then we got another group coming up behind me here. Update correction on my previous video. The washout that is directly behind me is well documented, occurring in 2002. I do know this road washed out in the late 1980s, which is the date I originally said, because I was with some college friends and we planned a trip into this area, and it was canceled partly because the road was washed out. So I've always thought that the washout directly behind me was that washout. I've since learned that the road was repaired, and this bigger washout occurred in 2002. There were discussions of having it repaired one way or the other, either with a bridge which was too expensive. It's 300 feet across to the other side, or to bulldoze a road back up through that way and connect to the road on the other side. I don't know what happened. I think it was pretty much a funding issue, priority issue with the National Forest Service. And then since then we've had washouts down where we park, and we've had a slide up a mile from the Dosewallips Campground. So this road is pretty much hopeless of restoring anytime soon. All right, we are now past the washout. I'm going to swing back. The established detour is a series of switchbacks up and over the washout, gain about 150 or so feet. That has not stopped some people from dropping into the river at the east end, coming along the river, and climbing up the bank at the west end. At low water, it is possible. My son and I actually have done that route once. Do not recommend it with a full pack. It's okay on a day pack, some sketchy rock hopping, and on this, especially the west end, it's a very steep climb out. There has been a rope there in the past, but I would not rely on it. All right, we got other people coming both directions, so we are going to shut off. So you may remember this spot from other videos. But it looks like the river has reclaimed the tree that fell down in that way, and they cut part of it to open the trail, left the other half dangling in the river, and it is no longer here. I think I see it downstream. I can't get it on this video. Okay, I can't, it's down. I saw a cut tree downstream, so I think that was it. We have made it here to Elkhorn Campground. This is often a spot that, if you notice in my other videos, I often start recording here as I head on up the trail. Again, here is the sign seen in other videos of going into the Dosewallips area. The main campground is 2.9 miles up. Elkhorn is, or I should say, was a campground. It was a drive-in campground, and when the 2002 slide permanently closed this road, it was essentially abandoned. That doesn't mean one can't come here. Is just an abandoned campground. Some of the facilities are still here. We're coming up to the first spot here on the left, which I actually often use as a picnic spot or a lunch spot, sometimes an early dinner spot. It's got, once you get past the road closed side, you can see it's got good access to the water. It's got a functioning picnic table, and it also does have a fire pit, which shows sign of recent use. So this is the first spot. It's a really nice spot. I have used this frequently as a break spot. This is my first break spot coming in. Today we are going further into the campground. The next spots are actually further on down here. There's actually a pretty big gap here of maybe 100 or 200 feet before you get to the other camp spots. Looks like someone is in spot 2, which sort of surprises me. It is a terrible spot. It's been slammed by the river, and the picnic table is half buried in river sediment, but there is someone camped there on the left. For privacy, I'm not going to swing left and show that spot, but it is, of course, my backup spot when spot number 1 is already occupied on my arrival. So there's, okay, I'm going to get a quick shot of the picnic table there buried in river sediment. The tent is to the right, which I am not going to show. One of the challenges of doing YouTube and public and social media is trying to figure out what to show and where to respect the privacy of other people out here. something that everyone's got to. Now, I don't know why they're there because spot number 3 and 4, sort of a combined spot up here, is a really nice spot. It's also, if there's a party, this is where the party is, because we're 2.5 miles from the trailhead. It's not unreasonable for guys to pack in 6-pack or 12-pack of beer and spend the weekend here. So if you're coming up here for the weekend, be aware that that could be the activities in this end of the park. Now, the reason I'm continuing on is that that's where the party is, that if there is one. No one really comes down here. There is, or was, an outhouse. I am not going to go show it because I already know that the inside is completely trashed and unusable. Just take my word for it. Do not investigate unless you want to see stuff that's really gross. All right. But Elkhorn Campground was a double loop campground. We were coming into the second loop, which is not heavily used. So here's my tip for today. If you're coming here and actually want to stay here, come past the front loop. That's, as I said, that's where anyone coming in with a 6-pack and beer is going to stop. You got some tables showing a little bit of wear, but back along the back side here, you got some really nice spots. And not only that, you have access to the woods directly behind you for private camp cat holes, which privacy is sort of a commodity in short supply in the front loop. I have no idea what the red ribbons on the trees mean. As far as I know, there is no maintenance plan back in this area because, well, they're not doing maintenance back here. And they don't look dangerous trees to me. Over here you got a site with a perfectly usable table. Trails going off into who knows where. On this side, once again, you have nice site. Looks like that fire pit's recently been used. Functioning table there. And, well, they are dead. All right, don't camp here on a really windy day. If anyone hears a crack behind me, this may be my last video. But it looks fairly sturdy, but I guess they're just learning people that there might be a danger widow maker there if it was a horrendously bad day. And I guess tying a red ribbon on the tree, dangerous tree, was easier than actually cutting it down. I'm actually coming back here to one spot my son and I identified on a day hike up here. He was actually planning to come back here with some friends. I don't believe that trip ever happened, but there is this corner spot back here. At one time there were benches set up around the fire pit. Looks like they are gone at this point. There might be the other spot. Okay, just a minute. It's the other spot. That's actually a usable spot. Here, you got a usable spot. All right, yeah. So here, we're way back in the far, what is this? Be the southwestern corner of Elkhorn Campground. Place few venture unless they're knowledgeable. And you have this spot out here. Functioning picnic table, usable fire pit, looks like it's been recently used, some bricker logs around it that one can sit on, easy access to the river. So yeah, that is my tip for this trip in case anyone actually wants to come out here and spend the night here. It's only 2.5 miles from the trailhead, but I've stayed here once when I got a real late start. And also if you're coming out really late and didn't want to do the final 2 miles, including the pass around the washout in the dark, you could also stop here and come out in the morning. Yep, there's another red ribbon around a dead tree next to an otherwise nice site. There's a real nice site right there. Actually, there's a ton all along here. There's a ton of nice sites and dead widowmaker trees. There basically is another tent up here, so I am once again going to swing the camera around to the other side, come back to the trail here, and give whoever's over there a little bit of privacy. I actually don't see a person, but I see the tent all set up and everything. Site beyond the tent is right there, another nice site. I am going to pull off on one of these sites here and have a snack. I don't have my bladder with me, so I got to get the water bottle out of the pack, and there's also various food items in the pack, either a Snickers bar, peanut butter jelly sandwich, or actually there's bread, peanut butter, and jelly. I actually have to make the sandwich here. All right. So that is lunch. This is my lunch spot here. So, and clear off that table. Figure out everything. Everything is wet here. I'm not sure what I'm going to sit on, but probably sit on my rain jacket because everything is wet. It looks like we just had huge rainstorms. Looks like the river, there's an alternate channel here. It looks like the river recently used this channel during the atmospheric rainfall, record flooding we had last week. The river has now gone back into this main channel. There's a little interesting island there. We'll come up here for 2.5 miles in with the kids, send them over to the island to explore, just make sure they stay away from the main river channel. All right, we're coming back, we're shutting this off and enjoying lunch. I am leaving that snack spot I identified in the last video clip. After I shut the camera off, I realized it was only 10:30, so I'm leaving my PBJ fixings for later in the day. We're going to head on up a little further on the trail here. But a word to the wise is always double check your gear before you head out. So I stopped here, had a snack, had part of a Snickers bar, had some water. I've got a liter of water with me, and I thought, hey, I'm next to the river, I'm going to go get some, top off the water bottle just because it's so convenient right here. Dug through the pack, and I do not have the water filter with me. Not a big deal. I'm in the middle of a rainforest. There are plenty of streams coming down. I'm going to not take water, unfiltered water directly from the main river. But the day pack was actually packed a week or two ago for another trip I never did, and I never went back and double checked it. I don't know whether I forgot the water filter in the initial packing or whether I was even more stupid and took it out for some reason. Anyway, I'm now down to about a half liter of water and no filter, as I said. I think we're going to survive. I don't even think we're going to get sick, but I'm either going to be thirsty when I get out, or I'm going to drink some unfiltered water at some point today. All right, heading back out of Elkhorn, we will head on up trail, and I'm not sure how far we're going today. We'd like to be past the washout before dark. I do have a headlamp to do the last mile in the darkness if I have to. I did talk to a couple coming up the road from the washout who did not take the bypass trail. They said the access road down the slope is still there, so we may be adventurous and bold and go out that way. Lunchtime. Table for one by the waterfall, please. The trail is behind me a short distance. I'm basically walking straight up the rocky waterfall. Obviously going to try to avoid any damage to the surrounding fauna. So I'm headed right for that log area. I will put my pack on this side of the log so that it's visible. That way anyone comes looking for me will see my pack there. And I'm going to find a place to sit down just beyond there, fix the peanut butter jelly sandwich, eat up the last of the portable water drink up the last of the portable water that I hiked in with, and refill my liter gallon and liter whatever, a liter water bottle from this source. It's unfiltered, so I may or may not drink it, but at least I'll have it, and at least I know it's as pure as I'm going to get out here without a filter. Hey Constance Creek, how are you today? Well, normally I think the creek is supposed to flow underneath the bridge. Yeah, out there. Looks like some of it's still coming through underneath. Yeah. Alright, I have filmed this old fire burn area in one of my previous videos. And one reason to come up today was to see if some of this timber is falling down on the trail. What I'm seeing is it appears to be thinner than in previous stuff. Someone can go back and look at my other videos to get a second opinion on that. But for the most part, what's falling is not reaching the trail. There is some stuff up here that's reached the trail, but I think most of it's old stuff that was already down here. All this is cut in, so no one's been doing trail maintenance in the last week or two. When I was wondering whether our recent storms would have brought more stuff down on the trail. So I'm not seeing, it seems thinner up there. I'm seeing further back, but looks like this what's fallen has not fallen down this far. And what do we have here? Aha! We have a brand new sign. You can definitely check my other videos out for this. But we are at the edge of Olympic National Forest going into National Park. The first 4.5 miles or so of this is Olympic National Forest, which forms a buffer between that and the National Park land. So we got another 1.2 miles to the ranger station. I am not going that far today because that would mean another 1.2 miles back to here. Should be another 2.4. Yeah, and that would actually make for a 12-mile day. I could probably do a 12-mile day. I just might not be able to walk tomorrow because that's what happened the last time I did a 12-mile day. I had to take a day off and essentially sit in the recliner. So we made it to the old fire burn. That was pretty much my goal for today. Okay, there's a bridge. That orange thing up there is a bridge. So I did fill up with the water at the waterfall after lunch. It's of course non-filtered. I've got from here 4.5 miles out. I did drink my last quarter liter of portable water I brought with me. So I might make it all the way out without drinking the unfiltered water, but I've got it with me in case I need it. All right, end of video. Quarter mile down river from Elkhorn, you come to this trail. Obviously an old road. And you're wondering what is down here. I've been down here before. I still have no explanation for what this area is. I got a few minutes here, so we can take a hike on down here. And eventually you come to a nice concrete bridge over the Dosewallips River. I have no explanation of this area or what it is or was. My son and I have crossed the bridge and gone beyond it. The road quickly turns east going downriver from here. The road is quickly become obvious that it has not been maintained in years. So I've got no idea, no information of where this went to. I'm assuming it was abandoned at the same time that the 2002 slide happened. Since this bridge was here, I'm almost, and since the road heads south, they've gone past where the slide was. We could have bridged across the river and come up that way, but maybe the road doesn't go that far. My son and I only followed it for a mile or so before we realized we were getting in the thicker brush and had a meal and turned around. As I said at the beginning of this video, the recommended way to get around the washout is to take the detour route that going up several switchbacks, crossing over the top, and taking several switchbacks down. Other hikers actually have asked me, did you take the river route? And I replied, my son and I did once. Here is the river route. Not recommended, but it is passable. Is it safe? Safety is a relative term. One thing one should think about is when seeing a frayed rope in the wilderness, one should consider maybe testing it, and also consider what's the worst that can happen if the rope breaks. I do know that other people have used it today. If the river was any higher, this would not be passable. But we are going to give it a shot today. I think just beyond the trees, I'm not going to film this because I'm going to need both hands. I'm going to use the trekking poles because I have some balance issues. But beyond those trees, there is a little bit of minor rock hopping. Now that these trees have grown up, you're actually between the trees and the river, so you really can't fall into the river very easily. When it first happened, falling in the river was sort of an easier thing to do, which would not be good. All right, so as I said, we've got, this side is a good 10-12 foot drop. There's a frayed rope here. The other side is an equal drop, but the trail is cut in a little bit better if you have some balance. I'd also be remiss to mention that if you twist your ankle along there and then you're duly reported missing and overdue by your contact, the search and rescue crew is not looking for you here. They are looking for you on the trail on top of that ridge. Likewise, if a rock comes loose, you might never know what hit you. So, those are other things to take into consideration of how risky you want to live. I am now across the washout. From the downriver side, it looks tempting, it looks easy. Beyond your eyesight, it gets a little on the sketchy side. And if the river's high, you have a lot less room to work with. If the river's low, you got a few more rocks to work with. And as I said, you've got a very unstable hillside right there. No guarantees. And as I said, on the far side, you have a frayed rope, which may or may not be there next time. Well, I have now made it back to the car, and my choice for a drink is either the unfiltered water I collected at the waterfall but never had, or a Pepsi. I wonder which one is healthier for me.